And hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Pumpkin Copter Cast, the only video game show. So today I'm joined by streamer and professional reindeer Jade Velfire.
Hello.
And yes, but before we get on to the interview proper, do we shall have a rousing game of Yu-Gi-Oh or Dark Souls. And how it works is I'll name three things, and you, Jade, will have to guess if there is a thing from Yu Gi Oh! Or Dark Souls. Because if there's one thing they have in common, it's the things in those franchises sound like fantasy dictionary melted.
Okay, that's fun.
So let's see. Let's see. First off, Tour of Doom, Yu Gi Oh! Or Dark Souls.
Doom. That sounds like Dark Souls.
No, is a indeed a card from Yu-Gi-Oh!
Oh my goodness.
From an entire archetype dedicated exclusively to flipping coins, because when Yu-Gi-Oh! Gets weird, it gets real weird.
Huh.
Oh yeah. So let's see, next. Let's see, what's a name that doesn't sound like a real name anyone would ever name anything ever? Let's see. Hmm. Let's see, Gaping Dragon, Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Dark Souls?
Oh, Gaping Dragon's totally Dark Souls.
Yep, is the thing that looks like a rib cage had arms and legs from the first Dark Souls game.
Yeah.
And let's see. Then the last one will be Hundred Eyes Dragon, Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Dark Souls.
That sounds like Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yep, is a card from Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, also known as the Card Games and Motorcycle Season.
Nice.
All right. So now that we've got that out of the way, we can get to the meat and potatoes of this video. So, Jay, to start, how about you introduce yourself to my -7 listeners?
Well, I really appreciate it. First off, thank you for having me on here. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
So my name is Jade Velfire, she, her, white-tailed deer, and I am a media professional who loves to stream video games and talk about media.
Oh, okay. So, Jade, how did you first discover video games?
I discovered video games at a younger age. Definitely, I think this was like pre-activation before I even gained consciousness that I was even alive. I was introduced to video games with the first Legend of Zelda and Final Fantasy.
Oh, and what would you say is your favorite game and/or games growing up?
My favorite games growing up. For a while it was Legend of Zelda and the Final Fantasy series.
Mm-hmm.
And now like as I've started to really get more into video games, I fell into like the Monster Hunter series.
Oh.
And I think Monster Hunter is like where my heart is.
Do you have a preferred weapon loadout that you go to every time?
It was always the long sword. And then once the insect glaive got introduced, I hopped over to that and I absolutely love it.
Okay. And so when did you start streaming?
Oh, I started streaming, I think around like 2021. It
Oh.
was definitely like a peak when COVID was happening.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I just started around there and just kept going.
Okay, and I get to pivot right to the next one. Why did you start streaming?
So Originally, I actually thought streaming was dumb. I didn't like the idea of streaming because I was a part of the crowd that was, why would I watch someone play a video game when I can just go play it myself?
Mm-hmm.
And then there was a day that I met an artist who was doing live 2D models for furries, and I thought to myself, you know what, I'll just throw money at it, just have it for fun and play around with it. And that was the rabbit hole that I fell down, because as I was messing with it, I was like, wow, this model is very cute and fun. What if
Mm-hmm.
I did stream? And I actually gave it a try. And I fell in love with it. I thought back to myself, man, how could I think this is dumb? This is really fun.
Okay, and so I get that kind of answers the next question already. So was VTubing always a part of your streaming, or did that part come like sometime later on?
Yeah, VTubing was always a part of the stream. I don't want to really show myself. Not for like any issues that I have with myself, but it's more of dude, do you know what Therians are?
I don't think I do.
So Therians are like people who feel more animal-like or more connected to like an animal than like their actual human self. And I took some time to figure this out for myself, but I I really like my persona way more than my actual human self. I created my persona as to be a one-to-one representation of who I am IRL. If there is a big red button in front of me that says, if you press this, you will give up your current body and you will live as your persona, I would hit that button so many times until it broke under my hand. so, so I consider myself Therian because I would love to be my persona. It's just what makes me happy, and it's probably what I'll continue forever being as online.
Hmm.
And even when I refer to myself online to other people, I describe the animal parts or instead of like anything human like. It's just what makes me comfortable and happy.
Okay. So if you lived in the One Piece world, you'd go for one of the devil fruits that makes you a part animal, part person.
I absolutely would. I would really hate to lose my ability to swim though. I do love swimming in water.
Yeah. So, I mean, I get it. Like my PNG tuber is just like my is like what I looked like when I was playing Animal Crossing New Horizons during the pandemic when I realized that I could like dress like a weird little red and gold freak if I wanted to.
I get it. Yeah.
I mean, I've also just been unintentionally like cosplaying like my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh card if it was human.
Oh yeah. What's your favorite Yu-Gi-Oh card?
From way back in Yu-Gi-Oh GX, Uriah, Lord of Searing Flames, because it looks sick and it incorporate and like my PNG tuber model has some like gold accents in like the coat part, and
Hmm.
Uriah is a lot more serpentine compared to like Slifer the Sky Dragon, and like the gold makes her look freaking sick. And also, just quick tangent, like in a few weeks they're releasing like some retrains of like those of like the Sacred Beast Yu-Gi-Oh cards, including a new one of Uriah that's like even better than the old one.
Oh, nice. This is actually a really cool looking card. I like it.
Yeah. Let's see. And like, at what point, like during your streaming, did you realize that streaming was like something you're like passionate about?
I realized I was passionate about streaming when I was building my community. Originally, the the streaming was just going to be a hobby, something I just have fun with and do whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But the moment I created the server and started having people join the forest and hanging out, talking to each other and connecting, the more I realized that I want it to have something bigger than just I hit go live and just play a game. I really want it to have a space for people in the LGBTQ gather. And while it still may be my streaming community, I still want it to have a space for these other people to hang out and express themselves in a way that makes them happy. And it's worked out so well so far, and I'm very happy with it, and it's what I want to continue doing. I've had like I think 4 or 5 people come out as trans in my community after they joined, and we've all discussed things, and that's
Mm-hmm.
like such a beautiful thing to me, and I want that to keep going. So that's been my favorite part. I just want people to be happy and feel safe, and if I can keep building that, I'll do it.
I mean, it's funny you mention that because looking back on it now, with it being Pride Month at time of this recording, and me coming up in almost 10 years of this show, like I've realized that three of the people I've had on my show have, later in life, like, come out as trans. Two of them were like within a year of being on this show. So so if it happens a fourth time, I'm convinced I have like the world's most niche psychic power.
It's very fun and beautiful being able to be who you want to be. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Okay, so just at the current time, like, as someone who's only just now gotten into streaming and won't be able to make it as much of a production for a little bit, like, what is your loadout? Like, what tech do you use to do your streams?
Oof. So originally it was just a computer and 2 monitors. And then I started diving more into it after I became an audio and visual technician.
Mm-hmm.
So now the current setup is 3 monitors, a camera for tracking. I have this little doodad that is also a tracker called a Leap Motion, and I have that underneath the keyboard for arm and hand tracking. I also use a audio mixer and 2 different computers. One is specifically just for stream encoding, and the other one is just for gaming and personal use.
Okay. And like, how long did it take you to like get your current loadout where you're able to like stream regularly and it just like goes as smoothly as like possible, barring any sort of hiccups?
Oh goodness, it took a while, and I mean a while, because first off, I had to work my butt off in order to obtain the funds for it.
Mm-hmm.
That job was wearing me out physically so much, but for setting everything up and ensuring that it works properly, it was probably a whole month or two just to tweak everything, because the hardest part about doing a dual PC setup is the audio. I had to reroute things back and forth, test it out, rebalance, ensure that everything is leveled. It was getting to the point that I thought I was going to rip my antlers off, and I eventually did it, and it worked out perfectly fine.
Oh, that's good.
Hmm.
And like, at what point, how long would you say like took for it during your time streaming? Did it take for you to like, just form the community you find yourself with now at the present?
Uh, it took me a while because I was really new to hosting a community. There were lots of things I had to figure out along the way. I had to really tighten security down. I had to ensure that the people that would come in really fit the vibe that we had going. I had to set up certain rules. I had to restructure the server multiple times. And I also was originally just letting anyone come in. And I realized that that was a mistake. I want to let everyone in, but there are definitely some bad actors. So I had to figure out a way in order to let people in and not cause issues. And with that, it was just now when people are in chat and they ask for a Discord server invite, I tell them, hey, I will invite you to it and send you a link if you're here for maybe the next one or two streams. I just can't let strangers in immediately. So it took a while, but after building up all this trust with my community and everyone else in there, spending time with your community and giving them attention, I think, is like the whole other ballpark of streaming. We would do community nights. We would all hang out in calls and talk to each other. We would play games. We would watch movies or tokusatsu media. It was just a lot of building that I had to do with my community to where it now feels like a very gay found family. And I love it very much.
Okay. And just like your VTuber model is reindeer. Was like the reindeer, was that always like what you envisioned for your VTubing model, or did you like go through like several like animal-esque personas until you nailed down that one?
Mm. So I don't consider myself a reindeer. I consider myself a white-tailed
Oh,
deer.
white-tailed deer, sorry.
um Originally, before I actually started streaming, I was originally a rabbit.
Ah.
The rabbit was around for maybe like 2 or 3 years, and that was like way before I started showing myself on the internet more. Right, maybe I think in 2020, I messaged a couple friends and I said, "Hey, I don't feel like I want to be a rabbit anymore. What animals do you guys see me as?" And all three of them at the time said a deer. So I went with it, commissioned an artist eventually, and got a piece done. And then we've built from there. Originally started as male to non-binary, and now realizing that I'm actually a woman. My dear Sona has went through many changes, and I'm here where I'm at now, where I am a loving trans woman who is a white-tailed deer druid.
Okay. Um, let's see. What was your like so far? What has been the favorite game that you have like streamed?
Oh, uh Outer Wilds. I,
Mm-hmm.
I think Outer Wilds is probably hands down my favorite game I've ever streamed. Not only was it fun and mysterious, but it was one of the most life-changing games I've ever played. I like to make the joke to people that my existence was separated in two different directions. It was pre-Outer Wilds and post-Outer Wilds. And that's where I'm at now. And if anyone ever asks if they should play Outer Wilds, I will tell them, yes, you should. Don't give up on it. Just have fun and really think and reflect, because that game is beautiful.
I mean, when I was 13, my parents gave me a copy of Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door for the GameCube, so I get it.
Ooh, yeah, Thousand Year Door is amazing.
Yeah, and now thanks to the remake, I can play it on the go if I ever feel like it.
That's awesome. It's such a great game. I understand.
Yeah, and they can, and since it is Pride Month at time of this recording, just the annual reminder that in the remake they reconfirmed that that best girl Vivian is indeed trans, and it makes the worst people angry, and I drink that like cranberry juice.
Yes, that's beautiful. I love it, and it's fantastic.
Yeah. Also, Goombella is definitely buying. We're kidding ourselves if we say she isn't.
Absolutely.
Listen, she loves slightly overweight Italian men and purple shadow girls that can punch you on fire. That is like a perfect summary of a lot of queer experiences if I've ever heard one.
It certainly is.
So, Jade, what would you say your future goals are for you as a streamer? Like, do you have anything specific in mind, or do you just want to like continue like refining and improving what you currently have going on?
I think that can be answered in a few things, actually. I definitely want to keep working and refining my streams. I want to make things run a lot smoother, be easier for myself, so it's not as straining.
Mm-hmm.
I want to keep working on my community and keep building it because that's been my motivator and passion for streaming so far. And eventually, with my expertise in the media field, I'm actually going to be offering my services to plenty of people, and I eventually want to open a queer LGBTQIA plus media studio with my friends, and we offer services that way because I feel like queer media
Mm-hmm.
is extremely important, and we need more of it badly,
Mm-hmm.
and for it to be actually made by people, which is even more important in these times.
Oh yeah. And like as someone who's only started to dip their toe in like streaming, what are there any like what are like some obstacles as a streamer that you've like had to, prioritize like, you know, addressing like over like I don't know, anything else?
Okay. Um, the first obstacle that I came past was realizing that there was no one in chat or no one watching, and
Mm-hmm.
that was something that I struggled with for a little bit because it's obviously something that doesn't feel good. However, there's so many people streaming. You've got to be able to throw yourself out there and, show your ass off a little bit to some people. Um and just just a small tip for people that is or are streaming or plan to turn off turn off the view counter. Don't look at your view counter. Just just keep just keep streaming. Don't worry about who's watching. Just have fun with it. Um Another obstacle that I came up with, or I came into I met with, is what I want to say, is that you just need to be able to have fun with it instead of taking it serious. I was trying to take it serious for a little bit, and I was trying to put on a mask of a show, and then I realized that that was the most draining thing I had ever done. So I threw that off and just was just doing me. I have nothing against people who want to act as a character on stream. As long as they're happy with it and they're having fun, hell yeah, I want them to keep doing that. Just when you are streaming, just do what makes you happy and stick to that. Don't be like me for a little bit. Don't be like other people. Don't chase things. Just present yourself authentically or how you would that you would find it fun, and just do your own thing. Just have fun with it. Do your best.
Okay. Um Yeah, I mean, you kind of got to answer that question already, but is there any like sort of additional advice you would give to like people who are relatively new to the like streaming and or VTubing space.
Hmm. You don't need to go headfirst with everything. You don't need to go drop money on $1,000 model. You don't need to go buy multiple monitors or have two separate PCs. You just need to have the bare minimum. You can still stream with the bare minimum and still be having just as much fun as anyone else. It's a luxury type deal if to keep diving further into it and put more money into it. However, if you put a lot of money into it, that doesn't make you a better streamer. You need to be able to build off of what you have already, and then you keep going from there, because I think that's what makes people feel a little bit more respectful for themselves and others as well. Um, they got to be slow with it. You're not going to grow over time. If you're just only worried about growth whenever it comes to your channel, maybe set other goals for yourself. Maybe set up a new redeem, or set up another goal that you want to do on your technical end with OBS. Just make fun goals for yourself. Build your image and who you want to present yourself to the internet, and be kind and loving towards others of who you meet. As a streamer, you will be meeting other streamers. You may do collaborations with people. However, just because we're on the internet doesn't mean that you need to be able to set yourself up to make yourself look like a jerk. We're still people at the end of the day. Treat other streamers with respect, treat yourself with respect, especially if you have a bad chat member. If someone comes in, I would rather lose one view or chat member over letting someone disrespect me and my other people in chat or community. It's it's a lot of social communication and self-confidence and reflection whenever it comes to streaming. You have to know what you're setting yourself up for before you go into this.
All right then. And let's see. So now I guess we can move on to the last question. Jade, in your opinion, is video games?
I think video games is and always will be, so as long as we stick to keeping them created by people. Video games are fun, beautiful, and I think are super engaging for the brain. I love video games.
Okay. And let's see. And like, do you find that there's like types of video games you gravitate to more during streaming than like than you ordinarily would if you were like say on your own time?
Oh, I whenever it comes to like player versus player games, I will play those on stream way more than I will like in my personal time.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's fun to be able to have those intense reactions, and even like the high adrenaline moments are much more fun to be had on stream than in person. If I'm just having it alone with myself, no one's going to see the sick shit I just did. I got to let other people see that. um but for stuff that's like on stream or even just like by myself alone, I really love RPGs and MMOs.
Mm-hmm.
Those are my jams.
Okay. And I think with that, we can begin to wrap this up. I would like to thank Jade Velfire for joining me and introducing herself to me and my -8 listeners. And Jade, is the like where can the people find you on this Bill's internet?
You can find me on twitch.tv/Jade Velfire. You can find me on Blue Sky with Jade Velfire. And yeah, that's where you mainly find me. I don't really spread myself much on the internet. I try to I try to make a home base on at least one or two platforms.
Mm. And if any of you out there enjoyed these words, feel free to like and subscribe. Hit that bell icon. If you happen to have any money, you can go to patreon.com/thepumpkincoptercast, where for $1 a month you could submit questions for me to use in future interviews. And if you want to hear some slightly more coherent ramblings from me, you can go to your podcast platform of choice and look for Gotta Recap 'em All, where God is a non-binary horse, so nothing is off limits, where I and my various co-hosts recap literally every single episode of the anime. Yes, including the ones that gave kids seizures. Yes, including the one where people or grown-ass men kept pointing guns to Ash's head. And yeah, so yes, as my guest today said, if you're interested in finding her stuff, just go to twitch.tv/Jade Velfire or Jade Velfire on Blue Sky. You can also find me on the Blue Skies at Big Debbie. And yes, thank you for joining. This has been the Pumpkin Copter Cast, and as I say at the end of every show, have a gourd day, everyone.